My next guest is an award winning entrepreneur who believes in a world where people wake up in a safe, warm, comfortable bed. Please welcome Sarah Poynton-Ryan. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Sarah. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited you are here. Please feel free to share with us even deeper, like who you help, what you do, what your story is.
My name's Sarah Poynton. I'm based in the UK, and I have a group of companies, but they are all focused within the property space. So, the ethos of my business, the vision of my
Mhm.
business is to create safe, warm, comfortable homes for people, whether that is homeless people from tents to beds, or whether that is training people in my coaching company to create warm, safe, warm, comfortable beds for others. Everything we do, I believe in a world where everyone wakes up in a safe, warm, comfortable bed. So all of my decisions in my businesses has led towards that bigger vision.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that. So, where does that idea come from? From truly helping these people being in safe, comfortable homes? Like, where does this idea come from, and how has it changed your life?
So I used to be in recruitment back in my corporate life, and I lived and worked in a place called Milton Keynes in the UK, which is just north of London. And every day I would go into the office, and every day I would take my lunch break, and I would walk from where my office was into the main shopping centre area of the town. And every day I would walk past the homeless community that were in tents under bridges. And over the years, that just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people and more
Hmm.
tents. And then it was not just that bridge, but other bridges. And I for a new town, so Milton Keynes is only like 50 years old. It's a brand new town. And for us to have such an issue around homelessness in our town, it started to get me to like research into it, look into it a lot more. And I started doing a lot of work with people like the YMCA here in the UK. And I started to understand that we have a real issue around available homes for people.
Hmm.
And I think that just triggered the decision in my world to try to have a commercially viable entity, a business that also was able to contribute to the world in a positive way. I think there is a way that you can balance socially responsible investing to create commercially viable
Hmm.
opportunities whilst also doing good things for other human beings. And so for me, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that sounds so, so good. I mean, every time we give and share from our hearts and we just truly want to help others, I feel like we are such in a place where we feel fulfilled and happy. And I can tell by just talking to you that you truly are passionate about what you do. And I just love it so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a sometimes it's difficult. You know, there's definitely a
Yeah.
balance between charitable endeavors and commercially viable business
Hmm.
endeavors, and trying to strike the balance with that is sometimes hard in an industry that is very much driven around money and often
Yeah.
greed. So it's hard. It has its challenges, but I love it. I love what I do in all the different aspects of what we do.
Hmm.
Challenges and all.
Yeah, I love that. So I know from your Instagram page that you posted about the misconceptions about you. I love that post.
Uh-huh.
I want to talk about the one where you say that business that are successful are not always meant to be happy. So can you tell us more about that?
as in you see success online, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that the people behind it are happy in what they're doing,
exactly.
right? So I think social media is a brilliant tool, but it can be completely the opposite of that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody listening to this, but I'm sure some people will definitely relate to this. When I go on social media and I see what other people are doing, I instantly start to get this kind of voice in my head, like, hold on, they've been doing it less time than me and they're doing more than I am. And hold on, they've achieved a bigger profit. Or, hold on, they're driving a better car. Or hold on. And I kind of start to beat myself up a little bit about the fact that I'm not enough and I'm less than. And I think social media gives us a very easy way of beating ourselves up for not being good enough, right?
Yeah.
And so I also think it's really important to understand that when you see something on social media, it's the shiny version of somebody's life. It's a polished representation. It's not real in the fact that whilst it is real, it's not the truth. Does that make sense? It's not the whole truth.
Yeah.
And I think what people have to understand is that when you're having really down days, so I had a not a great day yesterday. And yesterday I worked in my pajamas on my sofa with trash on Netflix, with cups of tea all day, because I just wasn't really in the zone for like making stuff happen. Today, I'm back in my flow. I'm good. Everything is good. But yesterday, I wasn't excited to jump on social media and tell the whole world that I was having a rubbish day and that things were not working out for me. But today, I've been on social media talking about really great stuff. And I think the thing about the misconceptions that people have of me, and I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, is we feel like we have to present this version of our life to the outside world of what we think other people want to see or expect. And actually, you can see somebody online who is incredibly successful in principle online, but sometimes when you dig deeper, they're in fact really unhappy with a lot of aspects of their life. And I've definitely had periods of my life where I internally, my inner narrative has been in quite a dark place, and yet the outside world would look at my life and think it's okay for her because she's got X, Y, and Z. And actually, when I'm at home on my own, by myself with my own inner narrative, it's not a very happy place. And like it's not a permanent position, and it's not something I'm in now, but I've definitely been through it. And I think it's important that people recognize that what they see online isn't always the full story. And so the point is, don't compare yourself to other people's 50% of someone else's story.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Everyone needs to hear this episode right now. It's just so true. Oh my gosh.
It's so easy to compare yourself with what we see. And again, like I've got clients who come to me and they say, well, hold on, like you're billing X, Y, and Z pounds. You're doing this, you're doing 6-7 figures, whatever it is you're doing. I'm only doing like 4 figures. And I say to him, well, I've been doing it 6 years and you've been doing it 6 minutes. Like, what do you expect? You're not going to be able, you can't compare yourself, like your day 1 with someone else's day 20. Do you know what I mean? You have to own your own space and your own moment in time, and try not to compare yourself with other people. And I think that post was from a place of don't assume that you know what's going on because you see half of a story online.
Yes, absolutely. And it also goes to like watching all these people being so successful. Like we never know what they're going through behind the scenes as well. Maybe they're going through a tough period. So always remind yourself of that everyone's going through things right now. And even if they're picture perfect, social media says otherwise, they're probably going through some stuff.
Everybody's going through something at some point.
Yeah.
And, since I started, I've definitely had some chasms of dark, and then I've also had like huge peaks where things are amazing, and then most of the time you kind of bubble between those two kind of ups and downs. But anybody in an entrepreneurial space, in a business space, or a leadership position, it's really normal to have ups and downs. And a lot of the time, just because of the way we're hardwired, we are either in one end of the spectrum or the other. We kind of we very rarely just sit in the middle ticking along. We kind of have this up and down situation, and that can be hard. I think not enough people talk about the fact that that's really normal, and you're not odd or strange or weird or failing because you're having periods of time where you don't feel like it's all working for you, or you don't feel in control or motivated or whatever it might be, it's okay to have days, weeks, periods of time that you don't feel like you're getting it right all the time. And actually, it's those down periods that actually help elevate you in the future, because you learn a lot more from things going wrong than you do from things going right.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh, I just love this conversation so much, and I know it's going to be so valuable for so many people. I also want to talk about, the fact that we have to have big dreams in life, and we have to know exactly what we want and go for it, but also give ourselves some grace, and give ourselves some space to truly digest everything and truly know that we're in this for the long term, and that if we stay the course, if we just show up every day, things are going to start coming for us, and things are going to start really
Mhm.
going the way we want them to go. So, what would you say to someone who's maybe going through that right now and they don't maybe see the finish line, or, things are rough for them right now? Like, what would you say to them?
Mhm. So I think one of the things I would say is that there's a difference between motivation and
Mm-hmm.
discipline,
Yeah.
right? So we can be motivated. I don't know about you, but like when you're out with friends and you agree to like plans, and then you get home and 3 weeks later you're like, oh, I don't really want to go to that thing. In the moment, you're motivated, you're excited, you're pumped up, you want to do the thing. And then when you actually think about it, I've got to get ready, I've got to get on a train, I've got to book a hotel, I've got to do the thing. Like it becomes a bit of a chore, right? So you lose motivation. In business, especially, you have to remember there's a difference between motivation and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Motivation is what drives you to do something in peaks. You have a peak of energy, and you get up and you're energized and you get on with it, and then but the next day you feel like slower, not as energized, and it's because your motivation for that thing has run out. Whereas discipline, if you can teach yourself to be disciplined, discipline is what takes over when motivation and motivated energy disappears, because motivated energy will eventually disappear. We've all been to those events where we leave and we're really hyped up and pumped up and we're ready to go and take on the world, and then we get home and real life happens and we're like, oh, hold on, well, how do I get back to that feeling? And it's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas discipline, when you bring discipline to the table and you show up even just small, consistent, every single day, you do one thing that's just a little bit more than you did yesterday, and just show up a little bit in a disciplined, consistent way, actually you'll find that the finish line gets to you eventually, because you
Mm-hmm.
are just plugging away at it one step at a time. And if you keep moving, you will get there. It's when you stop, because you allow that motivated energy to buckle
Mm.
you, it goes up and then it drops off the cliff. If you then don't do anything else after that point, you'll never get to the finish line.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, so true. So, I want you to talk now about your successes and what was the biggest accomplishment for you in your life or your business. I want you to brag a little bit about what you do or your clients' testimonials. And yeah, share with us how amazing you are.
So I think for me, there's a few things. I've got personal achievements, which are for me,
Mm-hmm.
and things that I will be proud of for me. And then I've also got things I've been able to achieve for other people through having the business that I
Mm-hmm.
have. And I think the first one I'll share is the personal one. So when I started this business that I'm in now, I started 5.5 years ago. My first business that I started in 2012 pretty much went bust. It wasn't kind of a formal thing, but it was losing money hand over fist. And I was about £60,000 in debt. I got married in
Mm-hmm.
September 2015, and at that point, I was £60,000 in debt, and I hadn't spent it all on a wedding. Unfortunately, I'd like spent it all on just trying to keep my business afloat. And we went away after that, after the wedding, and we were talking about the next chapters of our life and what did we want to do next, and everything came back to not having any money. And I decided in that week away that that wasn't going to be my life. I really wanted to make sure that I've always worked hard, but I just felt like I had nothing to show for it. So in November 2015 is when I started the business with £60,000 of debt and no idea what I was doing. I just kind of guessed my way through it. Which again, as you're starting businesses, it's okay to feel like you're winging it. Most of us are at the beginning. That's totally normal. You learn how to kind of nail what you want to do and find your lane eventually. But to start with, most people are kind of just guessing their way through it. And I did that, and it took me 23 months, but I managed to clear my £60,000 of debt in 23 months, and
Wow.
that for me was because I'd cleared the debt and I'd also been able to sustain my life as well. So I built £100,000 in my first 12 months. I'll be honest, I probably worked more than I've ever worked in that year, more hours, late nights, early mornings. I really did go to town on it, but I knew that there was kind of an end game, which was I needed to clear my debt, and I did it. I didn't do it in a year. That was the goal, was to try and do it in 12 months, and I failed that, but that's okay. I did it in 23 months. So for me, that will always be one of the biggest achievements, because that was a huge turning point in my life. Because with debt, I don't think, and people that are listening to this that have debt will understand that whether we say it out loud or not, it's something that sits as a burden in the back of our minds all day, every day. When you go to a shop and you want to buy a pizza, when you want to order takeaway, when you want to go for a drink with your friends, you want to take your mum for a coffee. If you have got debt, all day, every decision you make that has any kind of financial kind of contact will be, can I afford it? Can I afford it? Can I afford it? Can I afford it? And actually that takes up a lot of energy, whether we realize it or not. And the day I paid off my last bit of my credit cards, I cried massively because I was really proud of myself. But also there was this distinct moment of, well, hold on, everything I've got is mine now. Obviously I have mortgages on my homes, so that's a slightly different thing, but I'm talking about bad debt, like credit card debt, loans, these sorts of things that weren't really serving me. And that change at that point was a real kind of poignant moment, because it allowed me to do what I do now. And then I think the other biggest achievement, if I'm going to brag a little bit, I feel really proud. I've got a tenant, his name's Kevin, and I work with the YMCA and the winter night shelter that we have here during the winter. And they're a charity that support people sleeping on the streets, basically. And whilst we've helped lots of different homeless people over the years, it's very rare for me, because I have a team now of people that go and actually like meet the people in the houses and hand over keys. We've got a lettings team and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very much a leader of a business, but I don't always meet the people that we kind of serve. And not so long ago, it's probably about 8 months ago, there was a guy called Kevin, and he was sleeping in a tent behind a Tesco's, which is like a supermarket. I don't know if you have Tesco's over there, but it's like a big supermarket chain. And he was sleeping in a tent behind the supermarket, and he approached the winter night shelter because he needed some food and stuff. They introduced him to me, and we had a flat that was available. So we met. He kind of went to the winter night shelter on the weekend, and we had him in a bed by the Wednesday night. And because there was a lot of stuff going on with the team, they were all busy, because it was such short notice, I was actually the person that went and met him and moved him in and all that sort of stuff. And to watch a grown man take the keys for a home, having moved out of a tent into an actual flat, it was something I was really proud of. And the fact that my business and the team that we have is able to impact lives in that way is something that I'm pleased we get to do.
Wow, I got chills because this is so good. Thank you so much for what you do. You're truly changing lives.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. So I ask this to everyone who comes on the podcast, and I'm really curious to know your answer. What does being a powerful leader mean to you?
I think the power of a leader is actually in the people that they lead and the way that they lead. I couldn't do what I do without the glue that hold it all together, which is my team and my family and my friends who support me unconditionally, mostly unconditionally, not always, but most of the time unconditionally. My husband, whenever I have a crazy idea to go and do something, he's generally supportive, but sometimes he's like, really, are you sure about this? I think being a powerful leader, the word powerful, I have to say, is not something that I particularly feel very comfortable with. And I think that's just because of the nature of my background and history and stuff like that. I feel like I want to be on the same level as the people in my team and even the clients that we work with. I don't see myself as being above them. I see myself as being part of them. I just happen to be the CEO of my group, but I surround myself with people that are better than I am at the things that they do. So, my operations team, I couldn't do what they do. I think they're incredible and they keep things running and ticking along. And my job is to make sure that they're happy and we're leading and we're moving collectively towards the bigger vision of the business. But I think being a being a good leader is about surrounding yourself with people that you trust that are better than you are,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to energize them all to collaboratively move forwards towards the bigger vision.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh, there's no wrong or right answer. I just love to see all the different
Mhm.
answers. It just brings me so much value and so much different perspectives. And I just grow so much as a coach, as a leader too. So thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
So, do you have, any last piece of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience today?
There actually isn't a reason for you to compare yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You are enough, and you are everything you need is in you. Whether you believe it yet or not, whether you recognize it yet or not, you are enough and you're capable, and you totally can. You just need to be comfortable asking for help. The most inspiring leaders in our world, the most influential like businessmen and women in our on our planet, are not doing this stuff by themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what happens with smaller to medium-sized enterprise, startup entrepreneurs, coaches, all this sort of stuff, is they feel like they have to be able to do it all themselves to be seen as successful. And I can tell you right now that the most successful people in the world are not doing it by themselves. And we also have this challenge where, because people feel like they're not enough, or they're not capable, or they'll be laughed at, or their idea's silly, or whatever it might be, we have people that never write that book, that never start that company, that never invent that thing. And that's just such a shame, because the world needs you. The world needs your ideas, whoever you are. If you've got them, you have a responsibility to share them. And so, if you've got in the back of your mind, I'm not enough, I'm not capable, people will laugh at me, all of this sort of stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
encourage you to ask for help to get past that barrier, because you are enough, you are capable, and you totally can do it. You just not you don't need to do it on your own. It's okay to ask for help.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. This was for me. I like to have the control, and do everything by myself, but I have to learn how to let
Me
go.
too.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And the problem with that is that I fully accept now that I can't do the job that my team do as well as they can do it. My job is to
Mm-hmm.
be a leader. My job is to have the vision and to make sure we're on track with that.
Yeah.
Their job is to, and I call them my life glue, because without them, actually, it would all fall to pieces, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's my PA literally running my life and managing where I'm supposed to be and what links to click and all that sort of stuff, to my ops team, to our customer service team, our maintenance team, everybody does their, I couldn't do fixed light switches like my maintenance team can. If I tried to, we'd fail as a business, because I'd probably electrocute somebody. So it's okay to accept
Yeah.
that you're not supposed to have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing all of this. So, where can people go to connect with you further in the online space?
So Instagram and Facebook are probably the the places where I'm most active. Instagram, I am Sarah Poynton, is my name on Instagram, and Facebook, Sarah Poynton-Ryan. Ryan's actually my married name. So you can come and find me, add me as a friend, or connect with me. Send me a DM and let me know that you have heard me, or heard this podcast. Let me know that you've kind of found me here, and it'd be lovely to have a conversation with anybody that needs any help with anything we've talked about. Also, I am on TikTok and LinkedIn and all the other bits and pieces, but Facebook and Instagram is probably the best.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for your time, for being here, for sharing so much golden nuggets with our audience. I just love to meet you so much, and I wish you nothing but more success.
Thank you so much. And likewise, thank you so much for having me. And thanks to everyone for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.